Beds, stalls. Oh, you again, is it, love? We saw you last night, didn't we?
That's any of your business, may I ask?
Well, excuse me.
2, please. Back row.
Helen? Mrs. Parker, does she live here?
Parker? No. A family of that name did live here once, but that was years ago.
But do you know where they live now?
No. Sorry.
You kept looking at that woman.
Oh, it's my favourite film. Huh?
Yeah, I bet it is now. Oh, no.
Yeah. Hey, you. I didn't see you two lovebirds in there. Where were you sitting, on the back row?
No, we're getting too old for that.
Do you like the plot? Some complete stranger comes up and offers to do a bit of villainy for you if you do a bit for him in return. Handy, that.
He wanted a rich father shooting, not a couple of pheasants.
I know, but I mean, it's a principle, isn't it? I mean, there's no motive. It's a perfect crime.
But you don't have a wife who needs bumping off, Claude? Or do you?
No. But I've got a barn that's worth more knocked down than standing up. I reckon if I were to have a word with some complete stranger, I couldn't have give the insurance companies a thumping.
All right. Good night, then.
Yeah, good night.
Time, gentlemen, please. Now, come on, lads, come on. Time, please. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Towels are up.
My shoes.
Edgefield, please. Oh, hello, George. Yeah, hang on. Kate, it's George.
Right. Hello, George. What have you done with him? Right, I'll be down straight away. Someone's taken ill at the pub.
Do you want me to drive you?
Yeah. You turn the car, I'll get my bag.
Right.
I can't stay here.
Relax, Mr. Parker.
I'm all right.
With the temperature running this high, you're anything but. Have you a place to stay?
No, I just got here.
Well, we've got to get you bedded down and out of those damp clothes. Have a word with George, will you, Nick?
How is he?
Well, he ain't too clever, George. Kate says he should be in bed. He's got nowhere to stay.
Gina's away, but I suppose I can manage.
Thanks, mate. How well do you know him?
Dennis Parker used to live here. Left 6 or 7 years ago.
Has he got any family here?
Used to. Mrs. and a kid, but they moved away. Hardly surprising, seeing as how Dennis ran off and left them both high and dry. Ventris.
Yes, Sarge.
Question. When was the last time you looked at the unsolved case file?
Oh,
just as I thought. Bellamy? Rowan? Answer. Haven't a clue.
We've had no calls to, have we, Sarge?
In other words, out of sight means out of mind, which is how Inspector Murchison reads the situation. But we think she's got it wrong. Don't we, Ventris?
Oh, yes, Sarge.
And why do we think that, Ventris?
Well, we keep the unsolved case file under constant review, Sarge.
Exactly, Ventris. So, take it out and start reviewing it constantly. And you two get back to the real work. You're police. So police!
That's better. We seem to have nipped the infection in the bud, Mr. Parker.
Well, how long before I'm up and about?
You need at least another day in bed. How long are you planning to stay in Aidensfield?
I don't know. I came here hoping to find my family.
When did you last see them?
Not since I left.
If you chose not to contact them before, why is it so important now?
It was no choice of mine. I'm not sure you'll believe this. I can hardly believe it myself. A few days ago, I found myself wandering about, somewhere down south. Don't ask me how I came to be there. What I'm trying to say is the last 7 years of my life is a total blank.
So he lost his memory, forgot everything about his life here, and then suddenly, 7 years later, his memory's restored. Only he can't remember where he's been or what he's been doing. I think he's telling you stories, Kate.
Anything's possible with amnesia. Having said that, it sounds unlikely. We'll see.
So what are you going to do?
Try to find his family for a start.
Yeah, well, if he did live here, he's probably on Alex's old patient list.
How clever of me to have married a copper.
Go on, come on, come on.
Mr. Greengrass,
Who are you?
a stranger, Mr. Greengrass, as in strangers on a train.
So what you're saying is, you'll put a match to my barn while I'm nowhere about?
For which you'll collect hundreds in insurance.
Yeah, but then you expect me to do the same thing to your workshop or something in return?
Right, like I say, there'd been no motive, nothing to connect us.
I don't believe I'm hearing some of this. Are you sure you're not being let out from somewhere?
It'll work, believe me.
How do I know you're not just mental?
I'm a very intelligent man, Mr. Greengrass. I could have gone to university, but I did my duty to the family business instead. Well, now it's time to move on. And that takes money.
I could probably get arrested, you know, just for listening to you.
You want that insurance money, don't you?
Oh, yeah, of course I do, but...
It's a deal, then?
Hey, hang on. You do what you're flaming like, but leave me out of it. As far as I'm concerned, we never even met. You better get on your bike before I forget my manners.
As you say, we've never met. Good night, Mr. Greengrass.
Well, it's like gardening stuff.
Yes. I've sat here hours trying to think how I came to have them.
Name Selby mean anything?
No.
And you got nothing else in the way of possessions?
Sorry, that's it.
When did you first remember about Aidensfield and your family, Mr. Parker?
I'd been walking. I don't know how long. And the first idea where I'd come from, where I was going. Anyway, I saw this newspaper, checked the date, and I couldn't believe it. 7 years of my life, gone.
And that's when you came back here, is it?
Yes.
What was the newspaper?
It's the Oxford Times.
Well, it's a start, I suppose.
How long's he been missing?
7 years.
And he's claiming total loss of memory.
I've got Alf checking through missing persons now. Failing that, I thought I'd circulate his details in the Oxford area.
I thought the name Parker rang a bell. Dennis Parker, age 43, lay at the Hollies, Aidensfield.
Did you find him on missing persons?
No, wanted persons.
Loss of memory, eh? He'll be lucky.
Is Parker still here?
Yeah. What's wrong?
I've got to arrest him, Kate.
Arrest him? What for?
Well, he went missing, leaving more than just a wife and kid behind. He also left an employer short of 800 quid. He's wanted for embezzlement, Kate. Dennis Parker, Sarge.
Right, Constable Rowan has explained the nature of the charge.
Yes.
You are entitled to have legal representation, Mr. Parker.
I asked Dr. Rowan to be with me.
Yeah, right. If you'd like to come this way, please. With me.
Dr. Rowan.
Yes.
Can you prove he's suffering from loss of memory?
It's not provable. Not in the sense you mean.
So he could be faking it.
In my opinion, he should be believed.
And in my opinion, Mr. Parker would not be the first to claim loss of memory when charged with a criminal offence.
I'm a doctor, Sergeant, not a lawyer.
In May 1958, you were employed by Hainsworth Textile Mill. Is that correct?
Yes.
What were your duties there?
I worked in the office, in accounts.
On the 16th of May 1958, you collected the weekly payroll from the bank. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You collected the payroll, left the bank, and what happened then, Mr. Parker?
Well, I went outside. There was a fair bit of traffic on the high street. A car came driving up and stopped. The man in the back opened the window, asked me something. I moved, bent to speak to him. That's all I remember.
That was 7 years ago, Mr. Parker. Where have you been all that time?
I don't know.
Mr. Parker says he remembers nothing until he found himself hitchhiking to Aidensfield.
Well, you must have lived somewhere. Had some sort of job.
I know. But it's a complete blank.
So you claim you've no idea what became of your employer's money?
I didn't steal it.
Are you quite sure about that, are we?
Yes.
So you claim you've no idea what happened after you left the bank? If that's so, how do you know if you stole it or not? You give us no choice but to pursue prosecution, Mr. Parker. You'll be kept here overnight, and you're being caught in the morning.
Look, I came here to find my family, sort my life out, not end up in prison.
Rowan, lock him up.
How's it going?
The more you learn about amnesia, the more complicated it becomes.
So what might have caused it?
Well, it can be a stroke, but in Parker's case it wasn't, which suggests a head injury of some kind. Why?
Well, I think he might have been the victim of a wage snatch.
That wouldn't entirely explain a 7-year total memory loss. He'd have moments of recall.
Is that what it says in your books?
Yeah. He may not want to remember. He could be trying to suppress something he doesn't want to confront.
Like stealing his employer's payroll, maybe?
No, it'd be a deeper fear than that, Nick. And subconscious. He'd be completely unaware of it.
Aidensfield Police. What, have you called the fire brigade? Yeah, it's all right. I know where I'll be. Thanks.
First one was 11 to 2. The other two were beating the short head. It would come to nearly 14 quid.
You better get home quick.
If it's being burgled, I hope they leave something.
Your house is on fire.
Here, hang on. Hey. I thought you said it was my house.
Well, whoever called me must have got it wrong. Still, you got your wish, Claude. You lose your barn, get a fortune in insurance money.
Yeah.
You're next in court, Mr. Burns.
Now remember, you're on bail. You need to report to Aidensfield Police Station once a day. And if you leave the village, you let me know, OK?
I understand. I'm really grateful for all you've done. You will let me know if you hear anything from Helen and Joanna.
Of course. What happens next?
Well, it all hinges on that missing payroll. If we can prove it ended up with someone else, it's in the clear. If not... Morning.
Right, mate.
Right. Take a look at that. A fire officer found it in Greengrass's barn. It's a bunch of leather thongs dipped in paraffin.
I can smell it, Sarge.
And if we add that to the fact that his barn is heavily insured, we've got him.
Yeah, but Greengrass was nowhere near his barn.
The innocence of youth. Go, seek him out. Put the skids under him. I want his hide.
This fire was started deliberately.
Hey, hope you're not suggesting I don't to do it.
Well, you said the other night you wanted this place done in.
That was just me talking, wasn't it? I mean, Eddie Road, you know I'm nowhere near the place.
Just a coincidence, was it?
Look, this barn was the centre of my antiques business. I've lost everything.
Mr. Greengrass.
It all depends who's asking.
Your insurance assessor.
Oh, how do you do, sir? Very nice to meet you. Right, well, thanks very much, Constable Ronan. I'm sure you and your colleagues will get the culprits, and when you do, you'll see that justice is seen to be done. If you'd like to come and... I'm afraid it's left me a bit devastated, this.
Nick! I found Mrs. Parker and her daughter.
Well, where's she living?
Middlesbrough. Alex sent her medical file to a Dr. Chapman. He's just rung me.
Oh, right.
She's working part-time in the local school.
Well, I'll have to interview her.
Yeah, I know, but I'd like to talk to her first. You know, the informal approach.
Well, she might want to know.
Well, I'd like to try and persuade her to see him.
Phil? Look, the day Parker went missing, there's a report of a stolen car.
Yeah, well, we get enough of them to paper a palace.
Yeah, well, you look a bit further down. There's a report of the same car chased down the A1 and stopped by the Leicester and Rutland police.
Yeah.
Yeah, PC Row and North Riding. Who's the best person to speak to in records?
Hold on, I've just arranged for you to see Parker's employer.
Right, Sarge. Yeah, I want to speak to the Leicester and Rutland police.
Parker.
Yes?
My name's Kate Rowan. I'm the village doctor in Aidensfield.
Aidensfield?
I understand you used to live there.
Yes, but that was years ago.
Could I come in for a minute? I've got some information about your husband.
You made that statement 7 years ago, Mr. Hainsworth. Anything you'd like to add to it?
Not really. Dennis lost his memory, he said.
Oh, so he claims. What was he like when he worked here?
Keen, ambitious, you know, driven sort of a chap. It's maybe what tripped him up in the end, I reckon.
Why's that?
Question of wanting too much. Things he took on the wages I could pay, was bound to end in tears.
Well, did you know of any financial problems?
Obligations, more like. Expensive house, smart car, private schooling for his youngster.
Was he the kind of man to have stolen your firm's money, Mr. Hainsworth?
He married way up the social ladder. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Not if you've got the means to support him. But he didn't. So, work it out for yourself, Constable.
Has he said where he's been all these years?
He can't remember. The last 7 years seemed to be a complete blank.
And he's been arrested, you say?
Yes. But he's out on bail.
What does he want from us, Dr. Rowan?
Initially, just to see you.
After the mess he's made of our lives?
I know it can't have been easy for you.
Do you? Do you know what it's like to lose everything? Home, possessions, security, self-respect, even the basic means to support your child?
No.
It meant starting again. Learning to provide. I wasn't trained for it, do you see?
You seem to have managed very well.
Fortunately, I was sufficiently educated to teach languages.
Come on, Mum. I'm starving.
I won't be long, Joanna.
I'm glad I've seen her. Your husband's bound to ask.
He nearly broke her heart. She was inconsolable. And I was left, trying to explain to her why her father had suddenly abandoned her.
Look, I'm here solely as your husband's doctor. All I can say is that he has a desperate need to see you both.
What's the point? If he thinks he can blithely stroll back into our lives. Anyway, it's Joanna I have to consider now. It's not fair to put her through it all again.
Maybe you should discuss it with her. She's bound to find out her father's returned. And I'm sure she'd want to hear it from you, not strangers.
Joanna, I can't forget the one they call Joanna. We own the summer hand in hand, Joanna. And now she's always just a tear away. Goodbye, you long lost summer, leaving me behind you, repeating things for lovers that may find you. I still hang on to every word that day. You passed my way, Joanna. You made the man a child again so sweetly. He breathed your smile within your eyes completely. And on his heart, there's still a trace of you. I love you, but nothing in this world could make you mine. Yet still in time, Joanna.
C.J. Greengrass and Company can help you. Who is this?
Harold Jenkins, Mr. Greengrass. Now look here, you. It's all right. No one saw me.
I never heard that. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're in the clear, Mr. Greengrass. All you have to do now is to take down my details and do as we agreed.
I never agreed out. If I find you saying I did, I'll have your guts for garters. Now just leave me alone, right?
I've left my address and phone number. She'll contact me if she changes her mind.
What do you think she'll do?
I don't know.
What else did she tell you?
Enough for me to know that you had serious problems before you left Aidensfield. Did you ever discuss your financial problems with your wife?
They were my problems, not hers.
You felt she might not have understood?
It was up to me to do right by Helen. Provide what she expected.
And what did she expect, do you think?
She sacrificed everything to marry me. Family, friends. The kind of life that comes from never having to think about money.
She must have thought you were worth it.
Maybe, but I didn't want her to lower her sights on account of me. I couldn't match what she'd left behind, but I tried.
Maybe you tried too hard. If you'd talked it over with her...
Tell the woman I loved that I'd failed her. Tell her that everything we had was about to go under. That would have destroyed her.
A good marriage is more than possessions, Mr. Parker.
It's also respect, Dr. Rowan. Helen couldn't love a man she didn't respect.
Hello, love.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Parker. I've just had a call from your wife. She and your daughter will come to visit you tomorrow. Now I've arranged for you to meet at our place. I thought you'd have a bit more privacy there. I hope that's all right.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Everything all right? Right, I'll just...
More cake, Joanna.
What do you say, Joanna?
Thanks. I'll leave you to it then.
Are you coming home with us, Dad?
A few things to sort out here first, love. It's not the kind of trouble I'd want for you. Or your mum.
The money they say you took. You're not a thief, are you, Dad?
The police say I took it. I don't think I could do something like that. But the real truth, to answer your question, I just don't know.
Bye, Dad.
Take care, Joanna. Still a lot more to be said, Helen. I'm sorry, love, for everything.
I'm sure you are. But then there's a lot to be sorry for, isn't there, Dennis?
There were no cash bags, bank receipts, stuff like that. Just the cash. What happened to the two men? Right. No, thanks. You've helped a lot. Bye. Sarge, the day Parker went missing, there was a report of a stolen car in Ashfordleaf. Now, it was picked up on the A1 and stopped near Oakham in Rutland.
Well, what's this got to do with Parker?
Well, the two men in it were known villains. They were carrying a pile of cash. Total value, 800 quid. Now, that's the same amount Parker was carrying.
Well, is there anything to tie it in with Parker? You know, like a money bag or a bank wrapper?
Well, no, Sarge, but they could have ditched it. So let's just say they did the snatch, roughing up Parker in the process.
In which case, he would have been found in Ashfordleaf suffering from amnesia. And he weren't. It won't wash.
Come on, son. Come on. Alfred! Come here. Come on. Come on, son. Yeah, boy. Well, it has to have been a wages snatch. If we can prove Parker was bundled into that car and driven off. Oh, hello.
Sorry to disturb you.
That's all right. Go through.
Hello, Mr. Parker.
Hello there. Mr. Rowan, would it be in order for me to live in Middlesbrough? You know, until my case comes up.
Oh, yeah, as long as you've got a fixed address and report to your local station.
Helen phoned me. She wants me there with her and Joanna.
That's great.
It doesn't mean anything as yet. Not so far as Helen and me are concerned. She's doing it for Joanna's sake.
Ashfordley Police. Yes, he's here. Hold on. Nick? Hampshire Police. About that flyer you sent out on Parker.
Oh, right. Hello? A positive identification? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, when did she report it? Right. And what's her connection? I see. No, right. Thanks for letting me know. A woman in Hampshire positively identifies Dennis Parker.
Oh, that's one up then, isn't it?
Well, it helps us. Whether it does the same for him. She's claiming to be his wife.
Alfred! Alfred! Where are you, you daft apeth? Alfred! Alfred!
You're sure it isn't mistaken identity?
A name Selby, Kate. The same name's in Parker's jacket.
If his amnesia's genuine, he wouldn't remember her.
If it's genuine, what if it's not? It not only clears him of this, it also clears him of the little problem of bigamy.
Look, we know he was under enormous pressure before he left Aidensfield. Let's say he was attacked. The two combined could bring on long-term amnesia.
Yeah, or maybe he just decided to leg it with his employer's money.
I don't believe he deliberately abandoned his wife and child.
He finds it impossible to cope here, so he takes off. He marries someone else and then does it all over again.
Come on, that makes him into some sort of emotional psychopath. He's not like that.
Well, we'll see what Mrs. Selby thinks about all this. She'll be arriving here tomorrow.
Helen?
Come in.
Oh, not you again.
That's right. And don't hang up, not till you've heard.
Look, why don't you go away? I've got better things to do than mess about with nutcases like you.
You want your dog back, don't you?
You what? Well, you got him, have you? Now, listen here, you.
What do you want?
I'm sorry to trouble you, but I need your help.
Well, you lost your way home?
No, it's Alfred. He's been kidnapped.
And he'll give Alfred back if you agreed to commit a criminal act.
Yeah, he's a right nutcase.
How do you know him?
He were at pictures the other night, you know, when I saw you and your missus watching that Strangers on a Train.
Well, you never met him before?
No, he's a complete stranger.
What's he do?
I don't know, he's got a cobbler's shop or something in Ashfordley.
And what exactly does he want you to do?
He wants me to burn his shop down. I mean, can you believe it?
Well, yeah. Especially if it already burnt down your barn.
How do you mean?
Well, it's like the film, isn't it? You scratch mine, I'll scratch yours.
Well, I don't know about that.
Someone deliberately burnt down your barn, Claude. And you're twitching. So do you want to tell me the truth? Mr. Jenkins?
Yes?
All right, you. What have you done with Alfred? 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 Come on, son. Come on. Come to your dad. That's a good boy. Who's a good lad, eh?
What's this all about, Constable?
You're in trouble, old son. And I don't just mean stealing a dog. I'm talking about arson. You're under arrest, Mr. Jenkins.
You can't blame me, you know, not for the actions of a raving lunatic.
I'm not satisfied, Greengrass.
But I tell you, I had nothing to do with it. That's Mr. Ronan.
Ashfordley Police. What? All right, Bellamy, just stay there till the brigade arrives. Well, that was PC Bellamy speaking from the scene of yet another fire. Guess whose cobbler's workshop has just gone up in flames?
Jenkins?
Right. You know what that means, don't you? That fire-raising nutter, he can claim insurance. Can't he? Mrs. Selby, this is Dr. Rowan. Dr. Rowan is preparing the medical report on the case. And this is P.C. Rowan, the officer in charge. They are related. Now, before we talk, I'd just like you to take a look at this photograph. Is that the man that you reported as a missing person?
Yes, my husband, John Selby. We manage a small plant nursery. John was working outside building a trellis. Anyway, some kind of accident happened.
What sort of accident?
I'm not quite sure, but we found the stepladder tipped over. There were spots of blood on the path, and John was nowhere to be seen. Anyway, after he failed to show up, I guessed he'd suffered a loss of memory.
Had it happened before?
Oh, yes. It's how we met, you see.
Which was when, Mrs. Selby?
7 years ago, when I was travelling on business. Found him wandering about in a dreadful state.
What did you do?
I took him to hospital. They thought he'd been attacked and thrown from a speeding car, but we never did quite get to the bottom of it.
Whereabouts did you find him? Which part of the country?
On a road near Oakham.
Do you remember the date?
Of course. 16th of May, 1958. We treat it as a special anniversary, you see.
They attacked Parker, bundled him into the car, and just when they thought they'd been nicked, they dumped him off the A1.
Well, these villains, they'll never confess to it, though.
Jean Selby found him later on the same day. You heard her say what state he was in?
No, that'll do. It checks out. Leicester General Hospital have a record of Parker being admitted on the 16th of May, 1958.
There you are. He's in the clear, Sarge.
Married?
With a 13-year-old daughter. You never considered he might have a family?
The thought was always there. It was like some awful shadow between us.
Did he seem emotionally stable during the time you knew him?
At first he was very confused, vulnerable. He seemed to come to terms with it. Every attempt to help him recall the past just ran into the sands.
And how was he just before he went missing?
Not good.
Any reason for that, do you think?
Yes. I blame myself.
How do you mean?
It's rather personal, Dr. Rowan.
Your husband's amnesia is bound up with his state of mind, Mrs. Selby.
I thought it was due to injury.
Injury is what brought it on, but it's stress that's kept it going.
I am to blame, then. We're not married, you see.
But I thought you said...
Not legally. John and I settled in a small community where people just don't, well, live together. When I reported him missing to the police, I was being consistent.
I see.
I tried to make him sort out the legalities of his situation. I'm 32, Dr. Rowan. I want children, a real family.
And how did he feel?
He was dreadfully upset. We both were. But for once, I was thinking about me and not him.
Mrs. Selby, it looks like the charges against your husband are going to be dropped.
That's something. Can I see him, please?
Yeah, we'll need you to formally identify him.
Oh,
Mr. Rowan.
Hello, Dennis. Come have a word, please.
Of course. Please. Come in.
Who is it, love?
Mr. and Mrs. Rowan. With a friend.
Oh, well, I'll make a cup of tea.
Right.
This is Jean Selby.
Selby? That was the name on my jacket.
Just for the record, is this the man you took to the hospital on the 16th of May, 1958?
Yes.
1958? What's going on? Do you know me?
You don't recognise me.
Well, no. Do you know about my situation?
Yes.
She's made a statement to us. It seems the charges against you will probably now be dropped.
Dropped? Helen! I have to tell her, excuse me. Thanks. You've saved my life.
Goodbye. Goodbye. It was special between us, you know.
I'm sure it was.
There you go. I was just wondering what happens next time Dennis gets a knock on the head.
Oh, is he going to make a habit of it?
Hope not.
Ah, the viper's nest. Somebody in this office has betrayed a confidence. Hey, I want a word with him and all.
Not now, Claude. We've got to be in court in half an hour.
Marvellous, isn't it? Flaming insurance companies pay out a criminal like Jenkins, but not me who's done note.
What are you on about, Greengrass?
I'm on about this. They won't pay out, will they? Just because I've rightfully claimed for my antiques.
Well, they questioned the claim for your barn, have they, Claude?
They rejected it. Just because it says here, on account I've been using it for a business.
Greengrass, am I to understand you get no insurance money on that barn of yours?
For a change, you're right in one.
Thank you, Greengrass. Thank you for restoring my faith in natural justice, for proving that even you are answerable in this life. If not in a court of law, then in a higher place of judgment, a place where perfect justice reigns, and where expectations of conniving human flesh like you are flushed clean away from the sight of all that is law-abiding. And if you say one word, just one, I'll book you for criminal conspiracy, along with your mate Jenkins. Lesson number one, lads, in how to deal with time-wasting riffraff. Note, mark, and inwardly digest.
Do you think they'll be able to get over 7 years apart?
You want to live happily ever after? Who knows? It's not our problem, love.
At least we saved an innocent man from jail.
Come on, Kate. We'll never really know if Dennis is innocent.
Hey.